Ladies and gentlemen, tonight we step into a clash where destiny itself seemed uncertain. From Russia, the rising star, Dmitry Bivol, a man carrying thunder in his fists and the weight of great expectations on his young shoulders. Across the ring, from Malawi, stood the battle-hardened veteran, Isaac Chilemba, a survivor, a strategist, a fighter who had already stared into the eyes of world champions and refused to break. This was never just another boxing match. This was a duel between youth and experience, fire and patience, ambition and resilience. Inside the arena, the air was thick with anticipation. Fans knew they weren't about to watch a simple exchange of punches. They were about to witness a story unfold. Chilemba, with his unshakable guard and iron chin, walked in as the underdog. Yet anyone foolish enough to underestimate him did so at their own risk. He had pushed champions to their limits before, and tonight he promised to test this Russian phenom like no one else. On the other side, Bivol carried himself like a man who knew his destiny. Calm, expressionless, eyes sharp, cold, and fixed on his opponent like a predator sizing up prey. His unbeaten record gleamed, but whispers filled the crowd. Could this finally be the night someone unlocks the mystery of Dmitry Bivol? The tension grew unbearable. Every second before the opening bell stretched longer, pulling tighter, like a storm waiting to break. Both men stood locked in a silent stare, neither blinking, neither giving an inch. The referee's voice faded. The bell was about to ring, and in that frozen moment, everyone watching understood one thing. This would not be ordinary. This would be war. The bell rang, and instantly the atmosphere shifted. Dmitry Bivol stepped forward with crisp precision, his jab snapping like a whip, his movement sharp and calculated. Every punch had purpose, every step measured. He wasn't here to waste time. He was here to break through. Isaac Chilemba, however, was no stranger to danger. He read Bivol's rhythm with the patience of a chess master. He slipped, rolled, and fired back counters that snapped against the guard of the Russian. Chilemba wasn't intimidated. In fact, he almost welcomed the storm. For every straight right that Bivol launched, Chilemba answered with his own, reminding everyone that he was not here to survive. He was here to fight. The crowd gasped as early exchanges lit up the ring. Bivol's fists landed with alarming speed, but Chilemba absorbed them with his high guard, his eyes calm, his mind calculating. You could almost feel him saying, "I've seen power before. You'll need more than this to break me." Still, Bivol's presence grew heavier with every passing second. His punches thudded against arms, ribs, and gloves, forcing Chilemba backward inch by inch. The Russians' combinations were relentless, precise, and unforgiving. Yet somehow Chilemba remained on his feet, refusing to be broken, refusing to yield. Each round built on the last, the suspense tightening like a rope. Was Chilemba weathering the storm, waiting for his moment, or was the storm too strong, slowly drowning him under the weight of youth and power? By the end of those opening rounds, the story was clear. Dmitry Bivol was dominant. But Isaac Chilemba was still there, still standing, still fighting back. The war had only just begun, and no one could predict how long the veteran could endure. As the fight reached the middle rounds, the tension inside the arena only grew. Bivol continued to pour forward, his fists like pistons, firing with deadly rhythm. His combinations were lightning quick, punctuated by thudding body shots designed to break the will of even the strongest fighter. But Isaac Chilemba was not like others. He was carved from granite, forged through years of hard battles. With every shot that landed, he gritted his teeth and answered back. His jab pierced through Bivol's guard, his hooks caught the Russian on the counter, and his defense refused to collapse. The crowd was on the edge of their seats. Every exchange felt like it could change the course of the fight. At times, it looked as though Chilemba was beginning to slow Bivol down, his experience allowing him to slip punches and frustrate the young powerhouse. At other moments, Bivol's sheer volume and precision reminded everyone why he was feared. His fists never seemed to stop moving, his pressure. Each round became a test of will. The Russian hunted, the Malawian resisted. Bivol's face remained calm, almost emotionless, but his pace never wavered. Chilemba's face, meanwhile, showed grit and determination, sweat dripping, eyes still sharp, refusing to back down. Commentators whispered, could Chilemba's toughness carry him into the late rounds? Could the veteran turn the tide when the young lion tires? The suspense was unbearable. Both men locked in a war of attrition, the clash of generations echoing in every exchange. The middle rounds ended not with answers, but with questions. Chilemba was still standing. Bivol was still relentless. Something had to give. But what would break first? The iron will of Chilemba or the rising storm of Bivol? The final rounds arrived, and the stakes had never felt higher. Dmitry Bivol pressed forward, relentless as ever, his fists flying with machine-like precision. Every combination snapped through the air, cracking against Isaac Chilemba's guard, rattling his ribs, echoing across the arena. The Russian had built his reputation on breaking opponents down, and tonight, he was trying to break a man carved from steel. Chilemba, though battered, refused to surrender. His eyes still burned with determination. Each time Bivol's shots landed flush, the crowd expected him to fall. But somehow, some way, he stood tall. Wounded, yes. Tired, absolutely. But his spirit, unshakable. Every time his knees dipped, he straightened. Every time the Russian pressed him against the ropes, he fought back with counters, small but meaningful reminders that his heart was bigger than the punishment he endured. The audience could barely believe what they were witnessing. Every time the Russian pressed him against the ropes, he fought back with counters, small but meaningful reminders that his heart was bigger than the punishment he endured. The audience could barely believe what they were witnessing. This wasn't just boxing anymore. This was survival. This was pride. This was a man proving that while fists can bruise the body, they cannot always break the soul. Bivol, calm and efficient, showed why he was a rising force in the sport. His dominance was clear. His accuracy, his pace, his composure, all painted the picture of a fighter destined for greatness. Yet, despite his control, the suspense lingered in every second. Could Chilemba land one perfect shot? Could the veteran rewrite the story in the dying moments? The final bell echoed. Both men stood, exhausted, drenched in sweat, their bodies marked by war. The judge's verdict was no surprise. Dmitry Bivol victorious, the young lion still undefeated. But when history remembers this night,